The following program contains language and subject matter that you may consider unsuitable for children. Parental discretion is advised. You got it? Oh, God.
Jesus!
Yeah, he's two different people. He pretends to be a nice guy, but he's not. He's an asshole. That's what he is. He pretends to be a nice guy, and oh yes, I'm just looking for the fam, happy, and then but in another place he talk a lot of shit. It is what it is. Just be a man and say what you say.
Episode 3 of the Say What You Say podcast. I am Marquis Johns, senior writer of nyfights.com, joined by Kyle Johnson. Kyle, how's it going, my man?
Oh, Marquis, I'm excited. I'm excited about what we got going on this weekend. I'm excited about what happened last week. Boxing's got a decent schedule in July, but I'm excited to gloat about how right I was last week on a certain fight as well.
And right you were, Kyle. We'll get to your pontifications in a minute, but as always, guys, this fight podcast is brought to you by the fine folks over at ProBox TV. Sign up over at ProBoxTV.com. Get you that yearly subscription of boxing for $18. This weekend, they have a fight card headlined by Cesar Frances and Rey Beltran. Should be a fun fight at that race. See if Beltran makes one last run for the title here at age 41. But more importantly, Kyle, the co-main event has a heavyweight who was last seen walking gingerly out of the armory against Efe Ajagba, one of the most infamous things I've seen in a long time, and Curtis Harper.
Gentlemen, you can work right here. This is good. It's good right here. I gave you guys your instruction in the dressing room. I expect a clean fight and protect yourself at all times. Let's touch up. Good luck to both of you guys.
It is a heavyweight matchup. I'm going to let you know when that man fights Efe Ajagba, do not blink. Of his 5 professional bouts, 4 of them have been done in the first round. So he likes to bring an end to opponents in quick fashion. And Curtis Harper has walked out of the ring.
Wait, what?
I cannot believe this.
I've never seen this before.
He walked out of the ring.
He's not fighting this
He
guy.
walked out of the ring.
I've never seen this before in my life.
Curtis Harper has
And the
walked
fans here
out
in
of
the
the
summer
ring.
are really upset right now.
He is back. He is a swelt 262 pounds, and he is back taking on Christian Toon tomorrow night on ProBox. What do you think?
I'm excited to see Toon. I'm excited to see if he is. I think it could be fun. I also wonder why. Harper is allowed to fight again. I mean, hasn't he fought like 3 times since he walked out against Efe Ajagba? And why did he even walk out, Marquis?
He originally walked out based on what you talk to. If you talk to Glazer, you talk to Nate Campbell, they say it's money. You talk to everybody else, they have no idea. Talk to the state commission of Minnesota, they still assume no idea. Everyone's playing dumb at this point, and at this point they're letting it go away. But at the end of the day, we're out of heavyweights. And
boxing made the mainstream for all the wrong reasons again because of that.
Yeah, boxing, not the best look at all, by the way. But I must admit, him walking out at heavyweights, kind of one of the funnier visuals you'll see in a long time in the ring. It was the most peaceful protest I've seen in a long time, but he won't be doing that this Saturday on ProBox. Go ahead and check that out, guys, at ProBoxTV.com. Kyle, this past Saturday, you were on the money. You called Joyce Christian Hammer pretty much spot on. I'm going to put that audio clip right here.
A knockout bet inside of the first 5 rounds would be a good play. Just on Joyce. That's just probably if I was gonna do that.
Straight cash, homie.
So, Kyle, walk me back through it. You caught your shot on this. Walk me back through this fight against Hammer.
So I thought that Joyce around like 3rd, 4th round, he was going to get going, and I believe I said 4th, 5th round stoppage, and he got him out of there in the 4th round. Kind of like Greg the Hammer Valentine, he takes about 20 minutes to get going, but boy, oh boy, once he does, it is entertaining as hell to watch. first 2 rounds, he was kind of slow and just couldn't get out of the way of the right hand from Christian Hammer. And once the steam from those shots kind of wore off, Joyce got heavy on the front foot, and it is so much fun to watch him just plod along and just beat people up.
He is the definition of a microwave heavyweight, where once he's warmed up, as you mentioned before, where it's too hot to eat, like the kick cuisine, like, French fries and whatnot. When you overnuke the meatloaf, yeah, it's over. It is an absolute destruction of him when he's in the ring. And I'm actually looking forward to seeing who they got for him next. They mentioned that when we mentioned on last week's episode, they were hinting at Joseph Parker. That obviously wasn't working. We'll see who they have for him next. But the one name I want to mention, who I think may be involved, Kyle, is probably the main event of this DAZN card. Actually, we got Chisora back in action one more time, taking on Kubrat Pulev.
It's like this, yeah. You got Miss Universe there, yeah, and you got some Timbuktu chick somewhere, fat, smelly pussy. Which one would you go for? Would you rather wake up for and get hard on for? I'm getting my hard on for you. I am gonna come for all my fights. I'm gonna come.
Dereck, you smoke smoke joint? Not good to talk, just talk.
No, I'm not just talking, man. I'm just saying it. I'm telling you.
And last time you said same thing. Best strategy. You don't have nothing.
I'm gonna knock you out, man.
Last time we saw Chisora was against Joseph Parker. Tried his best on that. Just was slowly outworked, and pretty much the story for Chisora fights at this point, especially the last few of them, Kyle. Starts off quick against Usyk, tends to tire out, and then kind of falls flat at the end of this. Do you see anything different happening against Pulev for Chisora?
No, I don't. But I also wonder if Pulev's going to be able to defeat Father Time one more time. One more go around in the ring here. He's 41 years old, and he didn't look amazing like a world beater in his last time out on a Triller card there.
In fact, to pick you up on that, Kyle, the last time he was in action on that Triller card, he made more noise by not getting into the ring because of gloves, as opposed to actually getting in the ring once they found the gloves.
Yeah, didn't he give his opponent his backup pair after he said he wasn't going to give them? And all the people from Triller were in there, like all the executives were like, "Come on, man, just give him the fucking gloves."
Yeah, once you got the guy who's going to cut you the check, begging at you to get into the ring,
I think one of the old executive producers of like American Idol or something was in there.
Yeah, Nigel. I want to say the guy's name Nigel, that executive producer guy. You see a picture of this guy in this weird European robe, just begging Pulev, "Hey, please, what are you doing?" It's one of the funnier things I've seen in a while, Kyle, actually. But those two are back in action. We'll see how that all plays out. Not too much also on this match from the DAZN card tomorrow, coming from EO2 in London. It's pretty much if there's more prospects on it, Kyle, this would be called a matchroom next gen JD card. But
we do have, to be fair, the Israel Madrimov Soro fight, a rematch from a very controversial ending last year, I believe. Was it last year?
It was last year during the pandemic where they fought out in France, where Madrimov stopped Soro in a weird. Because there was a
huge issue with like.
Because yes, right. I think it wasn't Uzbekistan, because I think that had a big issue with Madrimov getting a visa to get out of the States.
Yeah, it was in Uzbekistan, December 2021. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Uzbekistan it is. So hopefully we'll get a different version of Soro this time around on that. But that's the actual real fight on this fight card. The rest of this card should be interesting to look at. Keep an eye out for Solomon Darkes. He's their heavyweight prospect they've been putting on these cards. He's probably going to be on the matchroom before the bell portion on YouTube, more than likely in the opener. Also keep an eye out for Fabio Wardley, part of Dillian White's camp. He's in action. As of this recording on BoxRec, it's TBA. Per emails and everything from Matchroom, it's Chris Healy, who was 6-6 and was last seen getting beat out by David Adelaide. So we'll see how that plays out. Other than that, should be fun to watch for as long as it lasts either way. But I do want to make a prediction here to keep the heavyweight prediction train rolling here, Kyle. I think Pulev distance is the easy money play here, and I don't think we're going to get any other decision otherwise. I just don't think Pulev has enough pop to stop him, and
Straight cash, homie.
Chisora has just enough resistance and enough trash talk to stay up for 30 minutes. So
I wonder if maybe if you want to spare a few bucks, maybe throw a couple dollars on the Chisora knockout.
Interesting.
But Pulev's pretty durable. I mean, he's only been stopped by Klitschko, I think. Joshua. Yeah, Klitschko and Joshua. Two solid. I mean, you have one of the best punchers ever, in my opinion, in the heavyweight division. Argue with your mama.
Yeah.
And then you have Anthony Joshua. So I don't know. But again, I just wonder how Father Time is. Well, for both these guys, and Chisora's been in some big time punishment. He's taken some big time punishment, and Pulev's old, so who the hell knows, man? But I think the safe bet would be Pulev decision.
Yeah, I think Pulev decision is the safe money on this. So keep an eye out for those two drunk uncles going at it one more time the Saturday night to close out that DAZN card at the O2. Want to move on actually to a card here in the States, because this is a card, Kyle, that you're going to be at, and something that we want to focus on more importantly here. On Showtime Saturday night at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, we have a main event. Mark Magsayo, last seen beating a one-armed Gary Russell, defends the belt he took from Gary Russell at 126 pounds, the WBC featherweight title. Takes on Rey Vargas. Yes, Rey Vargas. They found him, guys. He's moved up in weight. He's challenging for this title finally. So, Kyle, so walk me through this, because we've been talking about this offline all week, and it's a real intriguing fight, and we've been going back and forth on this. How do you see this thing really playing out?
So I feel like maybe I'm talking myself into what I think could be a war. Not even a war, but just something really exciting. You've got like Vargas, who throws about 800 to 1,000 punches a fight, and you have Magsayo, who will come forward, and he's got some pop, and Vargas is he just doesn't have a lot of power, but he has the high volume, and so this could be like a perfect storm, in my opinion, of boxer puncher. And I think Vargas is going to win a decision. I do, but I think we're going to get a much more exciting fight than we're led to believe.
You know what? I think so too. And it's a version of Magsayo that always intrigues me, where watching the Gary Russell fight back, he wasn't landing much of anything, but his aggression was just enough to keep Russell from not winning rounds, and that's what got him the title more than anything else. Had Russell been able to use either a finger on that broken arm, we may be talking about Russell sitting at home right now.
I kind of wonder. I do wonder if Vargas has enough pop to deter Magsayo from coming forward like he has with his and that aggression is. Even though he doesn't have 20 knockouts, he's got 16 and 24 wins. But don't get it twisted. He can punch. He can punch. I think it's gonna be a fun fight. I really do.
I really do too. I think people are really sleeping on this card tomorrow night. Actually, I think they're thinking because it's Rey Vargas, and the last time we all saw Rey Vargas, he put heads to bed. No pun intended there. But I really do believe that this actually may be interesting. Actually, I'm a big fan of this card up and down. The opener, Kyle, has Frank Martin, and he's taking on Jackson Mares in a fight that I think is actually better than the fight they had originally slated for him, actually. And the reason I like Frank Martin, Kyle, I'm going to elaborate for a little bit. He's one of those prospects from PBC at lightweight that he just comes at you, and he's just flashy and he's slick. He's one of those fighters that you keep an eye on, and it's like, oh, I didn't see him throw that. And then you see this guy fall down. Like, that was on display very apparently earlier this year in January, when he fought on the undercard of Charles Martin and Luis Ortiz, where he's pretty much was the highlight of that whole undercard, with the exception of Charles Martin getting short circuited into the ropes. It was one of the stranger visuals ever. But no, I really do believe Frank Martin, in terms of what people say in boxing, Kyle, they use that cliche. This so-and-so's the goods. He's the goods.
He's the goods. So I need to get there tomorrow. I need to get there Saturday early, or on time anyways, for that first fight on Showtime.
Yes, get there on time early for that Showtime, for that first fight on TV on Showtime. There is going to be actually on Showtime. Their YouTube channel is going to show, I think, a select portion of these fights. Rashidi Ellis is going to be more likely on that under portion. He's back in action after a long layoff. That should be interesting for how long that lasts. But the rest of this card is a bunch of showcases and a bunch of guys who pretty much haven't been active that need to be active that are probably in the ring to be active again. So it's a lot of that on the undercard. A lot of guys with a fight veteran records. That happens. The usual what a lot of these big time shows on the.
Well, I am excited to see the co-main. Mostly, I think this is a side fight, but Brandon Figueroa is back in action after the loss to Fulton back in November. And that was the old unification fight at 122. I think Figueroa is making his first start at 126.
Yes,
is that correct?
He's making the leap back up to 126. He's been fighting at 122 for a while. And you know what's funny, Kyle, about that actually is he was at 122 for a long period where at some point people were thinking at what point, when was he going to move up? I didn't realize we was actually going to get, I didn't think we was going to get the Figueroa Fulton fight, to be honest with you, because I thought he was going to move up actually back when he fought Julio Ceja back when we fought him to a draw a while back before the pandemic even started. So they've been talking about him moving up in weight for a while, but now he's finally making the jump. Now he has no belts at 122. Takes on Carlos Castro. Last seen taking on Luis Neri. Interesting test for him. We'll see what Castro has left. I don't think Figueroa is going to stop him personally, but we should be getting some good rounds, and we'll see what he has left in this.
Well,
but
Castro's a light puncher, and Figueroa. I think that work rate's going to carry up to the new division, and I think he could overwhelm him. I could see a stoppage around round 9 or 10, 8, 9 or 10.
You know what? The accumulation does make sense in that case. And you know what? I'm going to stand down on that. Why am I acting like Figueroa hasn't knocked anybody out? He only stopped, Luis Neri. So let me rescind that conversation I had a second ago.
Yeah, right. So, but let me ask you this, Marquis.
Yes.
With, how boxing is boxing, do you think that Figueroa gets to fight the winner of Magsayo Vargas?
You know what? In a perfect world, and Showtime has been notorious for doing this on these television broadcasts, where they'll put the co-main event of a possibility of fighting the guy in the main event. And with the exception of Brian Perella and that draw on that Erickson Lubin Fundora card, you can pretty much make a case that's usually the situation nine times out of 10.
This is like the night they put Pacquiao against Hector Velasquez and Eric Morales against Zahir Rahim, and everything blew up.
Yeah, this is pretty much that scenario all over again. Hopefully the fireworks were still left last week with the 4th of July like everybody else, hopefully, but we'll see how that all plays out. But no, I'm actually intrigued with all of that, but that is a real good Showtime card on television, at least on Saturday night. That's going to be fun, Kyle. In terms of things in July, it's probably the best event going on this month.
Oh, for sure, without a doubt. I don't think that's even
no one's going to argue that.
No one's going to argue that, which tallest midget, I guess,
I mean, hey, in the only pond. Either way.
Exactly. Yep.
We'll be right back to wrap this conversation up and with some news and notes right after this.
Just be a man and say what you say.
Welcome back. Quick news and notes here before we wrap up this episode of the podcast here. This week, Kyle, I was on the media call for Michaela Meyer and Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall. And I got to tell you, Kyle, these ladies don't like each other. And I'm looking forward to that fight when it happens in September. It's going to be fun because the big thing that I don't understand why people complain about this on social, because boxing is kind of where it's at with some of this stuff. But the big hullabaloo about this whole fight card, Kyle, was people were complaining to me personally, and I have DMs to show for it also, about why is Michaela Meyer being outsourced on this top rank card for Boxer and not headlining her own card against Bumgardner. That's been the conversation I've been throwing at people. And I've been telling everyone the same thing. I can tell you, Kyle, as well, where follow the money. And this fight's happening in September. And the only person willing to put the money up in September to put this fight card on is in the UK in Boxer. And that's where this fight's happening. And also, as you know, Kyle, as well, Savannah Marshall kind of can't make it over here to the United States. I don't think she's part of the whole Kinahan no-fly zone kind of deal. But I think it's more of just that she can't get over here. And always the fight with Shields and Marshall, which we've been hearing about, Kyle, at least for 5 years now, at least, you want to say? 5 or 6?
Oh, it's since they both turned pro. Yeah, absolutely.
Since 2012, now that I think about it. Yeah. So this fight was always going to be in the UK.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
And also another thing I think people forget also as well, and it's kind of weird because I'm getting a lot of mailings from all the promotions because of it. Clarissa Shields is signed with Boxer on this deal in association with Salty Promotions to pretty much on this fight card. So pretty much the headliners were Boxer fighters, and Boxers based out of the UK. Who's going to air the fight card out of the UK? Boxer,
Yep.
Sky Sports, the end. So,
Yep.
and that's where that goes. And it's only funny because the arguments I was getting from people was they wanted a Michaela Meyer on different cards. And when you throw people, okay, what other cards bigger than Shields, Marshall in terms of women's boxing or personally boxing as a whole? I mean, people we're Kyle, we've been waiting on with bated breath when we're getting Spence Crawford here. I mean,
Yep.
everyone.
I think this is a pretty big fight, man. I really do. Like I think they have a legit beef. Both of these, like,
Oh yeah,
all four of these women, like, they don't like each other, and I think like this is awesome for boxing to put those two fights on the same night in the same arena. Oh my God, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
this is awesome.
It's an instantly stacked.
Who gives
card.
a shit about putting them? No. Put them on the same card. Let's have a blowout card like that. It's awesome for boxing. It's awesome for women's boxing. The spotlight is all on these four women.
Yes.
That's it.
And you know what's funny, Kyle? Boxing used to do this. I'm glad that someone's watched HBO Sports in 2011 when they had the Superfly series on there. Thankfully, someone picked up and is doing that disco around with this. Boxing needs more of this for these cards to at least keep people around. That way we're not talking about very questionable main events and very disappointing undercards, which is more often.
No, that's a huge problem. Like,
yeah.
you know, this July schedule, you know, with you got Garcia next week.
Yeah.
Ryan Garcia. You got Danny Garcia at the end of the month. That's going to be probably garbage.
There.
And then, you know, something that I wanted to touch on, this Jake Paul, Hasim Rahman Jr. thing now. We touched on it in the first episode. We were kind of hyped about the Fury stuff. But now we got Hasim Rahman Jr. So what do you think of that, Marquis?
Man, I was all in for Tommy Fumbles to get this card again, man. And once again, Tommy fumbled the bag, or he can't get here, or Jake Paul doesn't want to go to the UK. Whatever the case may be, he's not fighting again. I don't. At this point, me trying to figure out why Tommy Fury is not fighting instead of not being on reality TV shows is kind of moot at this point. But we got Hasim Rahman Jr. here, who was last seen against Mackenzie Morrison, and I must admit, Kyle, I think this probably is an easier fight, despite the record. And I say that gingerly and seriously only because Rahman in his last fight against Morrison just looked limited. And the big thing that he got caught with, and the big hullabaloo, I've seen videos of him complaining about the stoppage afterwards. He got caught, Kyle, with a right that I think if me and you threw it, we would have looked Keanu Reeves from the Matrix movies dodging it. It was kind of one of those punches where it looked pretty slow, but it showed because he tried to get up and he was on shaky legs afterwards, and that fight was over. I think Paul lands that same right, and that's why they picked this guy to fight him again. This fight will be no different than when he fought Tyrone Woolley the second time, where he hit him with that highlight reel knockout in the 6th round. It's going to look the same way. That's why they picked Rahman, and I'm not looking forward to it.
That's what I'm thinking too. But I just, again, I will say it. You know, like I said in the first episode, I love a good freak show fight. So I don't care. I like carnival, nice circus. Everybody does. Let's go, baby.
Don't let me fool you. I'm the main event to me still kind of stinks personally. But they announced the undercard of this, and the undercard does have fighters I want to watch. Actually, they have Ashawn Styles, who is a prospect that is on Jake Paul's promotional label. That's going to be interesting. Amanda Serrane's going to knock the chick out she's facing back at featherweight, her comeback fight. That's all but a lock.
For sure.
And Brandon Lee's on this card. They mentioned on the undercard. He's facing someone to be determined later on, and more than likely, Brandon Lee's going to start somebody in under 4 rounds because once again, another guy with the goods. Brandon Lee. He just needs to face an actual live body at some point, but he's a good. He's another good one. But no, I'm all in for it. I'm down on the main event. I'm all up for the card though. Looking forward to that card, August 6th.
Yeah, so like the month of July, like I said, you know, you've got Ryan Garcia next weekend.
Against
we'll talk about that. Yep, against Javier Fortuna. We'll talk about that. Joet Gonzalez the next week, and then
I think
August.
We've seen Kyle during this pandemic more Joet Gonzalez than I think anyone's ever asked for, but he's back in action again.
So I do want to close the episode out with the second installment of Is He a Hall of Famer?
Absolutely.
So in August, you've got Conlon, Ortiz Jr., Teofimo Lopez. We've even got some Bridgerweight title action with Oscar Rivas. Now you've got the big one, the crown jewel of boxing, the heavyweight championship of the world.
Yes.
If today Alexander Usyk ended his career as an undisputed cruiserweight champion and a 3-belt heavyweight champion, and he beats Joshua a second time, yes or no, is he a Hall of Famer?
I think he's a lock at this point, mainly for what he did at cruiserweight. And the big thing I think that will get him in, and a lot of the writers are big on this, especially the ones who chronologically this stuff, because they're all bent on stuff like this. Usyk won his reign at cruiserweight undisputed, pretty much fighting as the B side on the road. That's always going to be a tip in his cap, no matter where he goes. That's essentially getting a head start on the Hall of Fame ballot. He beats Joshua again, who obviously was the long reigning unified champion for the longest at this point. Granted, whoever he was facing was whatever, but unified's unified. So he has the belts now. If he beats Joshua again, I think it's a shoo-in.
All right. I can't disagree with you there. I 100% agree. I think he's pretty much in unless he loses like a bunch of fights in a row here, which I don't think he will.
Yeah, I just think he at this point Usyk's been labeled as much of a character and has gotten this as much recognition as possible for where he's at. Where I think he's pretty much a given. It's one of those low key deals where you see him you'll see him get in later on down the line. And it's like, oh yeah, he was a problem when he fought.
Yep, that was a bad dude right there.
Yeah, he's gonna fall into one of those guys. He's gonna fall into the Mark Too Sharp Johnson category of terms of fighters and stuff like that, where it's like, oh yeah, that guy really did mess up a lot of folks.
Well, I think what did it for me was when he beat the way he beat Bellew was like very impressive.
That was impressive. Even the fight with Gas. I know people think it was a war, and someone argued with me a while back that you could make a case that Gas have won more rounds than they gave him, but Usyk won the fight. But it's still either way, these are fights that he had to fight that weren't. I want to wrap it up with this, Kyle. So next week, also with Javier Fortuna, I wanted to mention as well, we also will have later on down the line this month, my boys in action against Virgil Ortiz Jr. Finally, they're bringing that fight back up. My boy Michael McKinson. We will break that down later on this month as well, because I think McKinson's style is one where you either love it or you cringe at it, and I'm a lover of it. All 2 knockouts and all, but that's my dude. But we'll see what happens with that next time. And until next time, guys, say what you say. Wait a second. Start it over again. I'm gonna reclose this differently. Actually, yeah. In fact, next week as well, we got Ryan Garcia and Javier Fortuna in action, Kyle. Want to mention as well, later on this month, we will have my boy Michael McKinson taking on Virgil Ortiz. They're bringing that fight back up to no one's delight except mine. Looking forward to that. Also, as well, we should have some more news coming down the pike as well in terms of big fight announcements, because we need to see the fall schedule for a lot of these folks, especially PBC and Top Rank. That should be coming down the line as well. So July's a little slow right now, Kyle, but it's definitely going to pick up later on.
Oh, there's one fight that I want announced, and I'm not gonna. Everybody knows what fight it is. But I'm not saying it because I don't want to jinx it. I just need that fight to be announced for sometime late fall.
I think I know where you're going, Kyle, and I think that fight you're looking for may still not happen because Mike Tyson's 58 and Evander Holyfield's 70. But I know what fight you're talking about. I'm going to no-sell that as well, and I'm going to keep no-selling that as well until next week on the Say What You Say podcast. By the way, guys, if you listen to this podcast, tell a friend on iTunes, rate, like, subscribe. You know the deal, how this algorithm stuff works. You tell a friend about us, their friend tells them about us.
Yeah. So if you guys email us with any questions, comments, anything like that at saywhatyousayboxing@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter. Tell us we stink. Tell us you love us. Tell us anything. It's fun. SWYS Boxing. Follow us there on Twitter. And you can follow me at KJSA, KAYJAYSA. And Marquis, where can they hit you up at?
They can find me over at Twitter at Weak Sauce Radio. That's actually my Instagram as well, and a couple other things. If you type in Weak Sauce Radio, you'll probably see my face pop up. Unfortunately, sucks to be you, internet. And you can find us there. And until next time, say what you say.
Dereck, you smoke joint?